Hello guys, welcome back. This is David. I do hope you're doing well. Now, if you're comparing the CFA program with the FRM program, thinking about similarities, differences, perhaps common content, perhaps even thinking about a route through doing both of them, let's check it out. Now, I've been an instructor for both programs for some time, the last 16 years or so, but I got my CFA charter back in 2003, and the year after went on and did the FRM in 2004. Now, both are well-established programs, the CFA Institute having over 200,000 charter holders globally across 160 countries, and the GARP, the FRM, having equally the same, even more global reach, 190 countries, 96,000 FRM holders. Now, if you're involved in the CFA program, you can often come from a broad range of backgrounds, but usually in some way you're involved in the investment decision-making process. In some way involved in investment management. Whether you're an analyst, buy or sell side analyst, a trader, portfolio manager, some sort of an associate involved in that. Risk is even broader, of course. You work in risk, maybe you work in market or credit risk or operational risk, liquidity or in the treasury side of things, asset liability management. Perhaps you work in cyber, AI or information communication technologies. Perhaps you're involved in the regulatory side or compliance. Guys, risk is a huge area for potential employment. Now, looking at the exam structure in our comparison, well, to get your CFA charter, we know there are three progressive levels, 1, 2, and 3. Now, after each level, before you get your results, you make sure and complete your practical skills module, kind of a mini little training module on something of your choice. They give you a few options. For example, things like Python might be one of the options. And each level is very progressive and builds on the next. Level 1, going on the multiple choice, very much kind of a recall, more factual in that level 1. More analysis involved in level 2, giving you a relatively short scenario and then 4 questions that follow what they call an item set. And the level 3 having item sets as well as, they used to call these more essays, but they're really now short answers that are typed, called constructed response. More like an essay style based upon the scenario. Now, each level builds, the exams get harder as you go through, whereas the FRM has 2 parts. Back in 2009, the FRM was sliced in 2, giving you part 1 and part 2. Before that, the FRM was known as the full FRM, just 1 exam. And they did this, guys, to make the study much more practical. Doing it all in one go was a bit too much. It is still possible to sit the FRM in 1 exam window, so you can set that, but I wouldn't recommend it. Better to have some time in between. So both of these exams in a calendar year, there are 3 or 4 exam windows that you can choose. The fastest route through the CFA program is possible nowadays to do it even quicker with so many more windows. But the average time for most people a bit longer than that, 3 or 4 years. But nowadays that's kind of shortening. With the FRM, again, possible to sit more quickly, but usually 1 to 2 years is practical. Both of these require serious study, usually at least 6 months, I'd say. Now, the average hours spent per candidate going to vary, of course, on your background and how much time you have and how much of it is new to you. The famous 300 hours quote, it's only an average. Some people maybe can be quicker, some might take a lot longer. But they aren't that dissimilar, guys, there when you have a look. I think the CFA program having a little bit more content, but not a whole lot more per level. Now, I mentioned that the CFA program is quite progressive, starting off in level 1 with very much a lot more recall or simpler, shorter questions, 180 questions, learn and describe. When you get more to level 2, quite a big step up there really in terms of difficulty, analyze and evaluate those item sets. And then again, facing more integrated and applying the scenarios in level 3, also the short typed answers Always tougher when you haven't got a multiple choice format. So building in that way. Whereas with the FRM guys, they're both multiple choice, 100 questions for part one, 80 in part two. Um, I wanted just to show the scale of readings between part one and part two. So part one having currently 63 readings, and a big step up for part two, jumping up to 103. So going to take you a lot longer to handle part two, very, very wordy in nature. Now, a lot of people ask about the crossover, the common areas, and that might help you in thinking about a route through both designations. Well, the good news, guys, here is there's a big crossover between FRM Part 1 and CFA Level 1 and 2 combined. So, personally, I went through the CFA route first, and having the knowledge from level 1 and level 2 would really help you enormously for FRM Part 1. But you'd have to have completed 1 and 2 because, guys, the quants, the fixed income, the equity, the derivatives, the alts, they play a huge part in FRM Part 1. There you go, quants, financial markets, products, valuation, and models. Um, so, if you are going to consider perhaps doing the FRM while doing the CFA, make sure that you've done 1 and 2 first. Again, conversely, if you've done your FRM Part 1 and you're thinking about CFA program, you're really going to find the CFA, a lot of this content you've covered, with one big exception, which is the financial statements analysis. You haven't covered that, not too much as well in the economics side as well. So, but it's going to help you enormously with that crossover. The odd one out though, guys, here would be FRM Part 2, which is very much more risk focused. So market, credit, operational, treasury, liquidity, current issues. The only area where the CFA is going to help you is on the investment management, portfolio management side. That's helpful. The rest of it's probably going to be new to you. Now, Kaplan have been helping students pass and prep for both designations for a long time. I used Kaplan back for both of them in 2003, 2004, of course. So, yeah, in the learning phase, the Schweizer notes, the summaries, are really going to help you speed up the learning. There's a lot of technical content, of course, in both designations. Schweizer notes going to speed up that process for you. The video, guys, accompanying videos, the instructor video is going to help you as well, giving you good explanations. Also, you can connect with them in the community, ask questions too. Practice questions via QBanks and checkpoint exams in that learning phase too. And in the last 4 weeks or so, getting the review workshops, the on-demand reviews, getting the mind maps and again the revision question and answers, a chance to practice via the mocks. CFA having 6 mocks, FRM having 4 mocks, and of course the secret sauce too. Okay, so in summary, I'm a big fan, of course, of both. Heavily involved as an instructor teaching this FRM and CFA twice each year. They are different and they open different career opportunities. But guys, think about lifelong learning. If you've got an interest in both, guys, I do highly recommend it. So guys, hope that's useful and good luck with your studies. Guys, see you very soon.